And these preachers are responsible for the awful condition of things. They have taught the people lies and comforted them in their sin. And that our job is to cry against these altars. Same-sex marriage is racing through this land. It's a thing that God will not tolerate.
What up, freaks? Crafty here. Front row at thefreakshow.com. So, we talked about this on the podcast Monday night. What's that? What podcast? Well, the Front Row at the Freak Show, of course. You can listen live every Monday night at 8:30 Eastern Standard Time, and you can even call in to talk to myself, or the Atomizer, or Bax. I have been slacking getting the last couple archived episodes here on YouTube and Front Row at thefreakshow.com, but there's still plenty there to keep you listening for days. But to hear us live and call in, you need to head over to blogtalkradio.com/front row. And that again is Monday nights at 8:30 Eastern Standard Time. As I was saying before I rudely interrupted myself for a shameful plug of the show on blogtalkradio.com/front row every Monday night at 8:30, it came up how, since the Supreme Court decision on Friday allowing for the right of gays to marry in all 50 United States... Sorry, I have to stop myself again here. So, before the Supreme Court decision, 36 states allowed gay marriage and the other 14 did not. Question: given that fact, were we really and truly united? I mean, fair question, isn't it? Pretty big, significant law/civil rights question here that all states were not united on, you know? Maybe all that time the flag should have been changed with, I don't know, 36 stars on one side of that little blue box there and 14 on the other. Yes, of course. The 14 would have had to have been on the right-hand side. But anyway, food for thought. But which is apparently all moot now because of the Supreme Court decision handed down Friday that, in essence, said to those 14 states holding out,
"Who's your daddy, Gary? Who's your daddy?"
As stated on the show, certainly lots we could talk about with this decision and the issue in general. However, in my humble opinion, one aspect more than any other needs to be brought up again here and forever cemented and remembered for the pure awesomeness that it is. And that is the silly Christians and religious freaks absolutely losing their shit. Yes, personally, I am happier than the proverbial pig in a pile of shit right now with the headlines, news reports, tweets, Facebook posts, and general comments that are pouring in from all the loving, benevolent children of God on the heels of this historic decision. We'll keep it quick here today, so let me just lay what I feel are the top, how about 4 silly Christians losing their shit examples on you, and I'm sure maybe in a week or two we'll need to do a little revise or part 2 or something, because this ain't going away anytime soon. So, without further delay, here we go. Number 4. Bob Vander Plaats, a conservative activist in Iowa, told supporters the court, quote, succumbed to demands to invent a new constitutional right never imagined by our founders, close quote. Right. If only the founders included something, anything, about all men being created equal. Shithead framers. Oh, and what kind of name is Vander Plaats anyway? Did you know that's with 2 A's? Must be an extra one for asshole. Number 3, and I apologize. I actually forgot to write down who actually said this. But let's face it, does it really matter? Anyway, this person said, I will never recognize it in my heart because God gave marriage between a man and a woman, and that's what marriage is, he said. And I don't think the court, since it never defined marriage, doesn't have the right to redefine it. God gave us marriage, period, and God doesn't change his mind. I like this one just because of that God doesn't change his mind line. Really? Well, what about God telling Abraham to kill his son? Fortunately, he changed his mind there, didn't he? You know, the bigger thing with this quote, of course, is how the fuck do you know? How do you know any of this, especially what's on God's mind? The one and only possible answer to that is the minimum 2,000-year-old book. And if you're taking that as your end-all, be-all definitive guide, well, then at least I can respect number 2, Pastor Stephen Anderson of Faithful Word Baptist Church, who called for stoning to death ministers who performed same-sex marriage ceremonies and repeated his call for the execution of all LGBT people. Yes, finally, someone with some cojones to actually follow what the Bible says. Yes, that's your book, people. You want to cherry pick the occasional love and peace stuff and ignore the rest? Sorry, doesn't work that way. Now man up, grab some rocks, and get biblical already. And the number one example of silly Christians losing their shit over the Supreme Court decision enabling gay marriage in all 50 states is Bryan Fischer. Who, you might ask? And let me tell you, that's a good friggin' question because I don't have an answer. But it does appear that he has some kind of semi-large following. Oh, Mr. Fisher went on a tweet frenzy. Twinsy, I guess. I almost have to contain myself to a top 5 of the tweets this nuthammer spewed forth, as I believe there was a good dozen or 2 overall. Have at it, Big Bry. This is not just about religious liberty. This is about normalizing behavior, which is an abomination in the sight of God. June 26, 2015, a date which will live in infamy. I saw Satan dancing with the light the day the music died in the United States of America. From a moral standpoint, 626 is now R911. June 26, 2015. The day the twin towers of truth and righteousness were blown up by moral jihadists. Yes, he fucking went there. Freaks, there is nothing I can add to make that sound any freaking crazier than it is. So I'll wrap it up here. You know, on a serious note, I know there's a lot, probably the large majority of Christians and religious folks who don't believe as these delusional freaks do. However, it is to you I ask, think maybe it's time to start taking a closer look at the people you're hanging out with? The people reading the same book as you and ultimately believing in the same God as you? It's my opinion we don't need the Supreme Court or some silly old book to know what is right. How about you? All right, that's all from here. You freaks be good now. You hear?
Paying for your sin.
What's your name?
Selfish, violent, rebel brats. No more battles you will win. Terror and the terror rolls and the Godsmack strikes.
What up, freaks? Crafty here, front row at thefreakshow.com, and I do hope you enjoyed that video, and please stay tuned for more videos coming your way. Of course, the best way to do that is by going ahead and clicking that subscribe button, and of course, if you really liked it, I'll share it with all the freaks in your life. And one last thing, if I could here, make sure that you stop on over to the website, front row at thefreakshow.com, every Monday night at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time to catch the live streaming podcast of Front Row at the Freak Show. All right. Peace.